Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the SD 161 School Board meeting. The time is 6 o'clock. I'd like to officially call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Nelson.
Here.
Lanier. Childress. Ibarra.
Here.
Rouse.
Here.
Leestra.
Here.
Graves.
Here, and a quorum is present. The first item on the agenda are the audience comments, and we have Ms. Trop, just Ms. Trop tonight. Welcome.
Good evening, and thank you very much. I just have some questions. Please understand, when I asked for a board packet on Friday, and I provided them a whole ream of paper, can you please just print it out and I'll pick it up? That way I can have a complete packet so I can ask the appropriate questions and more questions when they're due. Number two, when I ask for the freedom of information, I ask for questions to be answered before I go through the channels. I'm still waiting for answers to questions that have gone through the channels, from Courtney to the superintendent, to the Regional Office of Education, to the ROE, to the next channels that are going, and I'm still waiting for answers to these questions. Freedom of information, I'm not asking for any confidential information. I'm just asking for numbers. Were the services improved? The numbers of, I can give you an example. I asked for how many people attended the counseling session for students. No answer. I asked how many people attended the counseling sessions with parents and students. No answer. I don't want any names. I never asked for any names. All I wanted was numbers, and I'm still waiting for numbers. So I want you to know that I'm going through the channels just seeking these answers. The next thing I'd like to know is when you did the APR grant, I was given dates for them, and I asked you, did you please correct the amounts when they were not calculated correctly? I didn't get an answer, so I'm still waiting for those answers. If you put your name on something, make sure you put your name on your something. Don't use my name, just use your name when you write something. The freedom of information is something that taxpayers are privileged to, not just privileged to, we're paying your salary and we're working for the students of Flossmoor. There were so many mistakes when there were calculations on the APR grants. I wanted them just to know if they were corrected. I still didn't get those answers. And I asked for the amount of $38,200, and I was stated that it was paid. I just wanted to know what ISPE, Illinois State Board of Education accounting number, paid for that, because it wasn't on the APR grant. I also asked, was there a late fee incurred, because no one wants a late fee, and I was told it was paid, but they never gave me the answers. And please, when you spend your money, please spend it like you have. I know you're administrators and you're the superintendent. Please spend it like you are a vital member of the Flossmoor community. And if you don't have the money, don't spend it. And when you make a mistake on something and you put your name on it, please correct it, because it doesn't duly represent Flossmoor if there's errors on calculation and errors on numbers, and you sign them and you refuse to correct them. And that's what I'm asking. And most of all, I would like, and I gave Courtney and she returned it to me, I would just like to get a board packet so I can read it on Friday and making sure can I answer all these questions. I do not want any confidential information. I just want numbers. I thank you very much, and please remember one thing. We're working for the betterment of the students of Flossmoor, and they had a very, very strong history of academics. I'd like to make sure that they go back. Yes, you're making progress, but I'd like you to all work to get a wonderful movement forward to make the parents and the board and the residents of Flossmoor proud of this school district. And I thank you for this opportunity. And if you'd answer my questions, I wouldn't be spending hours just to get answers for questions. And when you make an appointment, and I change all my appointments to make your appointment, please don't cancel it, because now I have to do things all over again. So if you make an appointment, keep it. And don't ask people to change their schedule and then you change yours, and I still didn't get any answers. I can't thank you for this opportunity, and please work together for the students of Flossmoor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Well, good evening, Board of Education, audience members, both in person and online. At our last meeting, I was previewing the start of the 2025 construction season with the groundbreaking that did occur at Heather Hill School on Monday, March 3rd. The crews began excavating the area for the new office at the school, and now that the weather is cooperating, the work is moving ahead full speed. We were slowed down by unbelievably snow last week, but now the crews should be good for at least the next week or two. But over the next 11 weeks, the crews are going to work exclusively on the outside of the building before connecting the new office structure to the main building once school is done for the year on Friday, May 30th. We're gathering pictures of the work. We'll share those on the websites, in newsletters, on social media, etc. And Pepper Construction was thoughtful enough to install plexiglass windows that the students can use to watch the work from inside the safety of the school while they can peek right out into the office area. So that's really exciting. Elsewhere in District 161, again, I keep saying unbelievable because we are here, but Friday, March 14th is the end of the third quarter. It seems like we just started the first quarter and had the back-to-school event at Flossmoor Park. But as we get to the end of the third quarter, I do want our parents and students to be on the lookout for the third quarter report cards, which will be posted on Friday, March 21st. That will be in Skyward. At this point of this school year, we're really trying to balance 2 years. We're finishing up the 24-25 school year while also continuing our preparations for the 2025-2026 school year, which will begin in August. From summer academy plans to our registration information, a lot of information will be coming out over the next couple of months. I want to strongly encourage our parents and community members to pay close attention to the individual school newsletters that the principals put out weekly, our District 161 e-news, which comes out monthly, and then, of course, our biweekly board meetings where we share a lot of additional information and updates. So we'll continue to send that information out, and we'll work with Stephanie Wright to make sure that we are trying to hit all of the different corners so we can get our families registered and ready for the 2025-2026 school year. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do find it hard to believe that we're at the end of the third
Absolutely.
quarter, all of a sudden. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, including Personnel Report 25-017, payroll for the month of February, the FOIA requests, Board of Education and Executive Session meeting minutes, disposal of the excess technology equipment, disposal of the excess learning and instruction equipment, and the nurse pay scale.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Rouse,
Yes.
Childress,
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Leestra.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes, and the motion passes. Okay, the next set of items are the action items, and the first one is the bills for the month of March.
I have reviewed the bills for the month of March, and at this time, I move to approve the bills for March in the amount of $1,544,781.92.
Second.
Roll call?
Rouse,
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes.
Childress,
Yes.
Leestra,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes, and the motion passes. Okay. May I have a motion to approve the reappointment and compensation increase for administrators and non-administrative staff for the 2025-26 school year as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Rivera,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Leestra.
Yes.
Childress,
Yes.
Rouse,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes, and the motion passes. Okay, and the next and last action item is the superintendent's employment contract. May I have a motion to approve the superintendent's employment contract?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Childress,
No.
Leestra,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Rouse,
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes, the motion passes. Okay, the next set of items are the discussion items. And the first item is the Heather Hill Playground and Serena Hills Swings.
So a couple of these, the Heather Hill Playground might be a year or two ahead of schedule, but I think we are officially 2026, I think, if I'm
Might have
remembering
been.
6 or 7 years ago.
We're kind of figuring, once we go to a building to do mass construction, we might as well just finish it and move on to the next place. So, as opposed to doing work in some other buildings and still having to do a playground someplace else. So, this is the mock-up of the Heather Hill Playground on the south side of the building. We got a lot of input from the students on this. I think Carol can probably speak a little more to what they did, but there was a lot of feedback from the students, so we went through a couple of different mock-ups of this playground before we settled on this one. One of the things that you want to notice is that both on the swing sets and on one of the pieces apart from the very main area, these are all handicap inclusive pieces of equipment so that all of our students can participate in the fun. So this is the Heather Hill, and this is, now again, we are utilizing the state Sourcewell bidding cooperative, so these have all been already pre-bid. And this will come in, now it also includes all of the artificial turf, the same as it is on the north side. So this playground is at a cost of $294,239. Then the other equipment that we're looking to replace are the swing sets at Serena Hills. You'll have two sets of swing sets, one on the east side and one on the west. They'll both be very similar to this, where you also get an inclusive swing as well as a group swing, and then 6 sets of individual swings. They'll also have the artificial turf underneath them, so that we got some, so that they'll keep better than the mulch that we've been using. The cost of this one would be $204,559.25.
Fran, can Heather Hill have a group swing too? I'm looking, and I think that's a great,
Yeah,
it's not on the picture?
it is not, it would increase the cost. I
It does,
do know
okay.
that.
Oh,
'Cause
and-
that
okay.
does, yeah.
That's a good point,
That is
because
a piece.
the whole playground is being redone as opposed to it's
Right,
Serena's
just
just
the
a swing.
swings.
Understood. Thank you for being responsible.
Any questions on the playground?
What were kids and, what were they excited about? Oh, sorry. What were the kinds of things that kids were excited? I'm just curious.
Sure, absolutely. Actually, it was really interesting because the fourth graders had just recently done an opinion writing piece on comparing
perfect.
I know, it was perfect timing for the primary playground versus the intermediate playground. So they had a lot of opinions. And in particular, they were very focused on slides. They really, the first iteration that Fran showed us, I think only had one slide. And they had come with the slides of the primary playground, and even though the bigger kids, they said, we really want slides as well, so they were very excited about that. And then, I was also really proud of them that they were really considering all members of our community, and they did say that they felt there wasn't enough access, for students that needed more accessibility. So those were their top 2 points that they wanted, were slides and accessibility for all students to play, because we do,
Love that.
have a student that can definitely utilize some of those spaces, so. And then they had some other ideas too about shaded areas and things like that, but overall, they were really excited about being able to contribute to the area, so.
Thank you.
What would the cost difference for the group swing be? I mean,
I don't know, I would have to double check that. I can easily get that. I can have it altered and put on here for next time around. I don't think it's going to be, it probably isn't significant, let me think. Let me see if I
It's
can.
not on the,
Can we just?
it's not
compare-
broken out in detail in the document, it's fine. I guess I would say if it's,
Can we just compare it to the cost at Serena, since the only difference is eliminating 2
Oh,
of the
yeah.
swings and adding the group?
yeah, so if it's not a huge difference, and if the students want it,
Yeah. Because, yeah, it sounds like they
Yeah, I
had.
think that piece is like $14,000 by itself.
Is it really?
come on, we can't go to Sam's Club and get one.
Yeah, it's kind of insane when you take a look.
okay, yeah,
Oh,
That's
oh,
a lot.
And it may not be, this is called an inclusive seesaw, but I don't know what else it would be, because the other inclusive.
No.
It's a
they're talking
multi,
about
it's called
that.
a
We go back.
multi-user swing.
Oh, the multi-user swing?
Yes.
Let me.
Yeah,
let
they're talking
me-
about
Yeah,
that.
this one,
that one right there.
the round
Right.
one.
Yeah,
That's it.
That.
yeah. Let me find out. Yeah,
That's like,
'cause
it
this is
used to be a
Heather Hill.
tire
Sorry.
swing back
Yeah,
in the
this
day,
is
now
Heather
it's
Hill.
that.
Oh, that's
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not broken out on this. It's part of the whole
Right, the
package,
swing
so I can't
package.
pull it out and see what it is. But, I mean, the entire swing set at Heather is 12,000, so or at Serena is 12. So the rest of the cost is really the artificial turf and the concrete and all those kinds of
Right.
things. So, let me ask Mike what he can do in adding one of those there. I'm sure it won't be a big deal. And I'll have that for you next time.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for telling us a little bit about how the students, how they picked out what they wanted. That's really interesting. Thank you. Okay, the next, it's you again, right, Fran? The next item on the agenda is the Heather Hill, Serena Hills Low Voltage E-rate project.
So part of what we're doing at Serena and Heather, and we'll be doing at all the other buildings, with the upgrading of the flat panels and so on, remembering that we are taking out the ceilings in the entire buildings, it seemed an opportune time that our cabling has been old. So it's kind of time to upgrade all the cabling work. So with the ceilings removed, the timing works really well. So it's putting in new cabling, it's removing the old cabling, getting it all hooked back up to the server rooms, and, getting the new trims that come down and, attach into all the classrooms, all of that work. So we did not put this in the contract with Pepper Construction because in order for us to be able to utilize E-rate reimbursements, the contract has to be directly with the school district. And that's a 60% reimbursement rate. So that's definitely not something we wanted to let go of. So what we did was the architects, the low volt architects who work with Pepper and so on, they did all of the drawings for this work, and then we put it out as an E-rate 470 project. Then when they came back in, Pepper did work with Leonard to make sure that we were really talking apples to apples. They spoke to all of the bidders, and I think it's a testament to how close they were, all three of them together, that they got the same message of what the work was. Airport Electric, who actually came in as high bid, is going to be in the buildings doing they got the bids for the regular work. Low voltage system, LVS, actually came in low. Pepper has worked with them on other projects, so they're very comfortable that they'll be able to do the job with no problem. So the bid comes in at a total of $141,403. 124,800 of that it does qualify for the 60% E-rate discount. So after we get our reimbursements of approximately just shy of $35,000, the district will actually end up spending about $66,500 is where we end up.
How, do they give the reimbursement right away?
No. So
Okay.
the work has to be done, we do it, and then the receipts get submitted to the feds and goes through
okay.
all of that, and then we get a check back.
E-rate works over 3 years, last year, this year, and next year.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank
And
you.
we'll do the same thing with the other three buildings when we get there.
Yeah, and Leonard is able to repurpose all of our access points. We should have another 5 to 7 years potentially out of those, which is another huge cost, but on our end, that's a big savings.
Any questions? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Heather Hill, Serena Hills abatement work.
Yes. So again, this is another one of those situations where this is work that we generally do outside of regular contractors. The asbestos abatement people are just kind of separate and distinct. We use Hygieneering as the consulting firm. They put together all the specs and so on as to what the work is, and then we go out for either bid or quote. As it would turn out, this job is pretty small for both schools. There's a small amount of asbestos in the toilet rooms where we're removing some tiling. And then what we found out at the 11th hour was that there is an office that is very tiny, that is adjacent to other carpet replacement that we're doing, where literally you walk across the threshold, no asbestos here, but there is here. So we're going to need to take up that as well. The black mastic on part of that carpet is asbestos. So NES came in as low bid at $28,875. Since they were low, we asked them to give us another price on just that small room right next door. They came back at 3,800, which still keeps them, under bid threshold of 35,000 and also as low bid. So we're going to recommend we go with NES on all of this project in both schools.
Fran, does this include, or is there other asbestos areas in those buildings? Maybe.
We've got to be pretty close to being through all of it at this point.
There's very little, and what does exist is kind of above hard ceilings that,
Okay.
no one would ever get to.
Now, remembering, we're not tearing the entire
Right.
bathroom areas apart, so the areas of tile that we're not touching probably do also have asbestos under them, but we're not ripping out all of it.
So
We're
there's
just
no need
ripping
to.
out certain areas.
Okay.
So I would imagine if we were in the future going to remove the whole toilet room or redo the whole thing, there would be still some.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, are there any questions regarding the information items?
I have a quick question, just on STEAM Lab updates. I don't know if my memory of this is wrong. It's the same contractor that did the work initially, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's just that the cost per computer seems high. It comes out to like $2,700 per computer. And it's only top of mind for me because one of my kids managed to, melt a computer in the last 2 weeks, and I had to buy him a new one.
Of course,
I mean,
been there.
that's a really nice machine. I understand there's some software in there, but I'm looking at the list of software, and 80% of it's free, and so
Yep.
it just feels high. I don't know how it compares to the original bid a few years ago, but my gut reaction is that it's higher than it was before.
Yep, we'll check, and we'll see if there are other alternatives. That's not a problem. No action tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. We'll bring that back to the next meeting.
And do we need an executive session? No. Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:22.
Nice.